We have such an important election year
Mm.
this year, but I want you to understand that right now is a primary election, and primaries are so very important. We have 11 seats. Virginia has 11 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. That means in all 11 of these, there are elections going on. Every district in Virginia, we've got that going on. Plus, we've got one seat in the Senate. I'm talking about the United States Federal Senate. We've got one seat up for election. We've got two senators, but one seat is up for election right now. And so there is a primary. And we, Pastor Alvis and several of us pastors, we interviewed all of them. And I know who I'm going to vote for. I have not voted yet, but in 2 days, I plan to vote. And so I want you, every member of our church, you, every one of you, every pastor, every deacon, every Sunday school teacher, every choir member, this election matters. Would you agree with that, Pastor Alvis?
Oh, absolutely. And you hit it right on. We have 45 days of voting.
Yeah.
Some people may not realize you can go vote now. I'm going to vote Friday because I'm actually going to be in Egypt preaching and teaching on June 18th, which is election day. And so early voting has already started. So we really encourage you to get out and vote. Now, pastors, make sure your people are registered to vote. Brother Byron, do you think that's important?
Oh, yes, massively important. You can't vote unless you're registered. So you've got to register and then you got to vote.
Should every Christian register?
Yes, every Christian should register. God himself ordained the church, the home, and the government. So it's inconceivable that God's people would abstain from voting and being involved. And so, yes, we all, every single one. In fact, Pastor Alvis, right now the church has a bigger opportunity than usual because a lot of regular citizens in Virginia will not vote in this primary. And so if our church has a 90 to 100% voter turnout, we can have a large percentage of the share of the vote. So it's massively important, Pastor
That is
Alvis.
huge. I was at a breakfast this morning with our state delegate from my county, and the attorney general was there, and he spoke and he emphasized the importance of local election and local involvement. Matter of fact, he made the statement about how important it is that in a lot of our rural communities, we have turned out the vote in some past elections, and it has made a huge difference.
Absolutely. The big cities need to vote, but the rural area ought to as well. And you've got a pretty contested election
Oh,
right where you are. You're
yeah.
in District 5.
I'm in the 5th district. We have Congressman Bob Good, who is in office right now. He's the chairman of the Freedom Caucus. And we have an opponent running against him. And in some of these 11, there won't be opponents running, but in a lot of them there are. And this one's a key one. And this matter of fact, a man said to me this morning, this race has become pretty ugly, hasn't it? And the sad reality is it has. And there's a lot of things being said that are just untrue. And I want to encourage you, pastors and church people, get the facts about where our politicians stand. It's easy to say, matter of fact, the general said this morning, it's easy to say something, but it's a different to do something. And while we never endorse as faith wins, we do recognize godly leadership. And we recognize when someone has the boldness and the courage to stand on biblical values in the face of great opposition. And so I would encourage you, pray, and we always encourage pray. 1 Timothy chapter 2, pray, make sure your people are registered to vote and vote biblical values. Find out which candidate is consistent in voting for biblical values. And like you said, we have congressional races and then we have a Senate race. And we interviewed those 5 Senate candidates, and we'd be glad to share that information with anybody who wants it. You can email me at Pastor Alvis, A-L-V as in victory, I-S, Pastor Alvis at gmail.com. And we can make sure and get that information out to you so that you're informed and vote biblical values based on the reality of how things are going.
I loved something you said. There's a lot of people say things. There are other people who do things.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about your Congressman Bob Good.
Yes, sir.
You know, we don't endorse,
Right.
but we do salute good leadership. And I'll
Amen.
tell you, he has risen to the occasion,
Yeah.
risen to the challenge because it's tough in Congress. It's a real fight.
Now,
And
let me just emphasize again, early voting has begun. You're
yeah,
going to vote Friday, right?
I am.
Alicia and I are going to go vote Friday as well. You have from now until June the 15th. Election day is June 18th. But the last two Saturdays, June the 8th, June the 15th, every county will have to have voting open on that Saturday. But it's open Monday to Friday right now. So please don't miss an opportunity. You know, somebody might get sick. You might have a car breakdown. You might be out of town. You might have an emergency. Go ahead and vote early, vote faithfully, make sure your vote counts.
You know, I've voted in elections when there was only one person running and it was somebody I couldn't vote for. And I've gone down and I've written in my mom's name, I've
Mm.
written my wife's name because I want to vote with a clean conscience.
Right.
But oh, everybody's got to vote. Pastor Alvis, we salute you too for
Mm.
all the work you're doing with Faith Wins. We got this rally at Page Valley coming up too. Everybody be tuned in for some big rallies coming.
Amen. Amen. God bless you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please be registered, vote biblical values, and vote now.